Okay, I am gonna do my final live reading of the week. Chapter 5 of my book, Simple Practices for Creating Balance in Your Week. And yeah, so I'm today, just like I have the earlier part of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll read the chapter, and then whoever's on, if we want to get into a discussion, we will do that. You can find the first 4 readings in my IGTV feed, that middle tab on my profile. But so I'll just hang tight and let a few folks get on, and then we'll get started. Thank you so much for being here. We'll get started in just a couple minutes. The last few days it's worked out where I've started at 5 after the hour. So 4 minutes from now, hey, I'm about to do the final chapter read of the week, chapter 5 of my ebook, Simple Practices for Creating Balance. It's been so beautiful all week to be here with everybody. So I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes to let folks get on, because I know that there'll be a few that have been with me all week that wanted to be here today. If you didn't catch the others, they're in my IGTV feed, chapter 1 through 4, followed by really, really amazing, rich discussions around practice, around self-care, around work-life balance, around all this work from home fucking craziness. So if you're curious about the first 4 chapters, check my IGTV feed. Yeah, I'll get started in like 2 minutes, so feel free to go and come back. But yeah, in 2 minutes. That's what I've done the last couple days, waited till about 5 minutes after. Yeah, I'll get started in a minute. Hey, Davina. Hey, Imperfect Society. We'll get started in just a minute. If you're curious about my ebook, it's linked in my bio. You can get the first 2 chapters for free. But you don't even need to buy the book. You could just look at the readings and kind of listen along. A couple of people have been posting this week how they've been putting it on sort of podcast style while they're doing other things. So that's a thing you could do. You're sitting outside. That is a perfect way to bring balance into the day, right? I'm looking outside. It's so nice today. It's so beautiful. That was one of the things somebody said earlier in the week, that the one thing that they're trying to do is to sit outside and have their lunch in their yard, to feel the sun on their face if they do nothing else. Like they're in the house working all day. Hey, Buki. Oh my God. Oh, 2 of my favorite people are on here, Dafina and Buki. It's good to see you both here. I'm gonna get started in like 1 minute. I'll start reading. Chapter 5 today. I was feeling kind of sad about it last night. Like, how I had all this planning to do the reads, and it's been so fun, and now I'm like, oh, I never want things to be over. I'm like a hardcore, will stay up, stay at the party, thank you, till even past my expiration, just because I don't ever want things to be over. And so having these readings ending today, I was like, oh, I need something else. This has been so fun. So I'm actually thinking up a fun thing to go live. Probably not next week, but maybe the week after. I have to do a little coordinating. But it's just fun. It's fun to get to hang out together. This sweater is like the Instagram ad of the year. One of my best friends bought it last year. I was like, I need that. And so then I bought it, and then another friend bought it, and then another friend bought it. Yeah, love this sweater. All right, well, it's 5 after, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started, and then folks will trickle in the way that they have. Just to stay consistent with the previous days, I'm going to read my About page again, and then I'll move into chapter 5, just in case anybody who catches this episode first, they know who I am and what the deal is. If you're curious about the preface and the inspiration behind the book, you can catch that in chapter reading 1 from Monday. So, all right. My name is Annie Sanchez, and I'm on a mission to decrease overwhelm in the lives of women and people of color. Oh, hey, Sophia. I'm a productivity-obsessed goal strategist and clarity coach. I'm driven by the vision of the kids in my life, seeing, feeling, and knowing what it looks like to live life on one's own terms. As a coach and strategic planning consultant, I'm focused on behavior, habits, and process improvement as pathways to actualize individual and organizational goals. I've worked across industries at different levels of leadership and am proud of the reputation I've created for being a compassionate, focused, and inclusive leader and colleague. This book was floating around in my head for months, but it didn't come out until an especially sleepless night. Sleeplessness isn't really normal for me, so it felt like a sign to get up and see what my mind wanted to do. I literally asked myself at 1:30 in the morning, what is most important right now? And the crystal clear answer was, write the book. This content is an illustration of my love and commitment to my work and to you, beloved reader, client, friend, followers, live streamers all week. If you find nuggets in here that help you manage your week and feel a little more balanced, then I've done my job. You can reach me anytime at annie@mariposastrategies.com. I would love to hear from you. And I want to give a special shout out to Matt Kollock for his loving, patient, and thorough editing. He can have all the cookies. Chapter 5, how to follow through. So this is the stuff, right? How to actually stick to the things you know are good for you, that are bringing you balance and feelings of calm, and ultimately moving you into the experiences you want to be having. I firmly believe that it's all about little habits stacked on top of each other that bring about the greatest change. There's actually a formula or loop that habits operate within. If you can crack yours, you are almost certainly guaranteed to have, be, feel, create, and do all the things that work for you. In this chapter, I offer some tried and true practices for sticking with my goals and bringing balance to my week. While I believe they or some version can work for you, it comes down to building habits that are going to serve you and your needs. I invite you to take what resonates and leave what doesn't, and keep yourself open to trying a practice that doesn't resonate now, but may in the future. Without further ado, I offer you the following 3 practices as tools that can help you stay grounded, focused, and follow through with the practices in chapters 1 through 4. Number 1, setting up your day. Number 2, checking in during the day. And number 3, ending your day. Setting up your day. It's more than just a to-do list. Grab your journal or notebook, and I invite you to carve out 20 minutes, ideally. Use 5 to get really quiet. Write thoughts, feelings, ideas, gratitude. Name a goal for the day. Write everything you need to do. Prioritize, and then take a picture of what you've written. I'm catching another typo as a side note. So Matt only did like an okay job of editing. I've now cut 3 in total. So going back. So take 20 minutes. Taking time before you get into your morning routine to get quiet, think, and breathe has become one of the most powerful tricks in my cauldron. I understand that it can be a challenge for some, especially parents, to have a quiet morning before the kids and demands of the day start yanking on your attention. And finding 20 minutes of quiet solitude any other time of the day can perhaps be even more challenging. So do what you can with what you have. If 20 minutes is simply impossible, can you take 10 or 15? Is it possible to go to bed 20 minutes earlier so you can wake up 20 minutes earlier? Is there anything you do in the morning that can be shifted to the night in order to give you that block of time during the day? 5 quiet minutes. Whether you take 10, 15, or 20 minutes, use 5 to get quiet. Sit down somewhere comfortable in an area of your home that makes you feel good. Set a timer, one with a sweet chime signal, not a loud alarm, and close your eyes for 5 whole minutes. Just breathe. Take long, deep, slow breaths. Clear out that overnight air from your lungs. Gently wiggle in your seat to straighten your spine. Pull your shoulders up to your ears, back behind you, then down to rest. Breathe. As thoughts start to make themselves known, tell them you will be with them in a few. When they yank on your pant leg again in 10 seconds, tell them to hang on again. Breathe. When the chimes go off, open your eyes and take one more deep inhale and slow exhale. Right. This is basically a brain dump of the things that were yanking on your attention while you were breathing. Grab your journal and pen and get the thoughts out. Heart and body. First, write any feelings you're having. Bullet point your thoughts or write them in full sentences, whatever feels right to you. But keep it specific to feelings. The stuff in your heart and body. Maybe your back is aching or you're feeling really excited about something. Stuff like that. Mind. In a separate paragraph or set of bullet points, write any ideas that are floating around in your head that you don't want to forget. It's helpful to keep ideas separate from the feelings so you can go back and find them with ease later in the day, later in the month, or later in the year. So like literally keep having the things that you're feeling in your body in one little area and then the ideas separate. So it's like, boom, I know that it's this separate block of ideas. What did I think about on Monday? It's like, just go straight to find it. Let's see here. So that when you're asking yourself, where did I write that brilliant idea I had last month? Oh, perfect, right here in my notebook under the header ideas. Thank you, me from last month, for being so organized. You can thank yourself later. Gratitude. I know there's so much information available about the power of a gratitude practice. For me, simply thinking about the things I'm grateful for is incredibly powerful. But when I want to go a little deeper, I like to write down the things I'm feeling grateful for each morning. Maybe it's one thing, maybe it's 10. Get them out of your head and on paper. Goal. If you do nothing else today, what would you go to bed tonight feeling really good about having gotten done? Write it down. To-do and priorities. I talked about to-do lists in chapter 3. So to reiterate, write down all the things you need to get done today. Now, take a look at your list and ask yourself how important each thing is and if any can be grouped together, like emails, for example, delegated to someone else or eliminated altogether. As I mentioned before, having more than 10 things on a day's to-do list is pushing up against the edges of too much. It's nearly impossible to truly give your best to this much stuff. Of course, there may be days when you have 20 things to do. Be gentle with yourself and know that you can and will get it all done. My mom used to say, you can only do what you can do. If you can do 20 things today because you have the time and energy, go for it. When your final list is all together, prioritize it. Not everything can be top priority. Maybe your goal is priority number 1, and everything else falls in line thereafter. Only you can decide the order of importance, of course. Take a picture. If you don't like taking your journal out of the house or you don't open it up throughout the day, take a picture of your morning page and to-do list. It's an easy thing to be able to reference when you need it. Checking in throughout the day. It's all about noticing. At lunch or on a break, look at your journal or the photo you took. Are you making the progress you'd like to be? If not, what's getting in the way? Do you need to adjust your expectations about what you'll be able to actually get done today with your sanity still intact? Close your eyes and feel the feels. Are you anxious? Are you cranky? Are you tired? Are you kicking butt and feeling great? The whole point is to feel more balanced and grounded, right? So notice how you're feeling and acknowledge the feelings and what you need to get through the rest of the day. Ending your day. This is where it's at. I invite you to grab your notebook and carve out 15 minutes right before bed. Do a brain dump of what happened. Write what you're proud of. Write what you could have done differently. And then do a brain dump of stuff for tomorrow. Write any ideas, notes, and gratitude. 15 minutes. You can certainly take longer, but 15 minutes is just enough time to do some quick hit reflections on the day. What happened? Obvious, right? Jot down all the things that happened that are floating around in your head. Again, it can be a bullet point list or a full-on sentences. However your mind works, just dump your thoughts. Proud of. What happened today that you are especially proud of? Maybe you accomplished your goal or completed your whole to-do list. Perhaps you communicated in a way that made you feel fully in your power. This has been the single most useful and powerful journaling practice for me. It feels really good to be able to look back at the week of your proud ofs and recall all the awesome shit you did. Side note, it really truly has been the most powerful. It's helped me to see how much progress I'm making in a variety of different areas. Having at the end of the day, writing, even if it's one thing that you're really proud of, it's so helpful because 2 days go by, 2 weeks go by, a month goes by. You can't remember all the things that you did. So having some sort of record around the things that you feel really, really good about and really proud of, I think is a really important practice. Could have done differently. What do you wish you had done or said differently? This is a learning edge right here. If you can acknowledge what doesn't feel so good, and perhaps even why, you will be and feel all the better for it. Stuff for tomorrow. Just as it sounds, dump a messy list of all the things in your head right now that you know you want or need to do tomorrow. Don't organize or prioritize. Just get it all out of your head so it doesn't keep you awake. Ideas and notes. What ideas, thoughts, or notes do you need to write down? Get them out of your head, and when you're thinking about them later and need to come back and reference, you'll thank yourself again for putting them in a separate section in your journal from your to-do lists. Gratitude. Again, the importance of feeling and acknowledging what you are grateful for, whether big and giant or itty-bitty, shouldn't be underestimated. Not only does it feel good to consciously think about and recognize the people and things that make us feel good, there is scientific evidence that a gratitude practice can be exponentially beneficial in tangible ways, including reducing stress and aggression, as well as improving sleep and self-esteem. So now what? My advice is to start with the 1 or 2 practices within this whole ebook that you feel most excited by. If you try to introduce a bunch of new things in your already full week, life, day, you run the risk of feeling even more overwhelmed. So start small and layer on once you have 1 or 2 down. I want you to know that whether you are drawn to all of these practices or a few or just one, you are on the right path to creating the balance that you crave. You are here, you are doing the work, and you are doing the best that you can. So, my dears, that is chapter 5 of my ebook, Simple Practices for Creating Balance in Your Week. I do want to really stress that simple they're simple when you're starting with one. And like I said, sort of layering them on. If you try and okay, I'm going to deal with one chapter this week, one chapter next week, the next chapter the following, and it's trying to bang them all out, it's counterintuitive and it won't actually be helpful. So I strongly encourage you to just whatever you heard this week, if you have the ebook and you've read it and you're like, oh, I want to try that. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Just start with one thing. And especially right now, because everything is so fucked up with all of just everything is a mess. Starting with one and just letting yourself try it even for a whole month, right? It's not about trying something for a day or even trying something for a week, but just gently introduce what feels right and hang with it for a couple of weeks. And then if you're feeling yeah, this is sort of becoming a habit, it's happening automatically, then you can introduce something else. But don't go overboard. It's not about adding a bunch of new shit to your plate. The whole point is to decrease overwhelm, to make you feel a little bit more balanced, a little bit more calm throughout the day. Yeah, let's see here. Buki says, I guess you can have some of those cookies now. Yeah, so that was when I begged him to edit it for me. He's a freelance writer. He gets paid. He makes all his income from writing for other people. And so, hey, Nikea, my niece just joined. I was just talking about Matt, my little 10-year-old niece. I begged Matt to edit the ebook because my eyes were glazed over after months of writing and reading and re-editing, and I felt like I had gotten it just right. And so I was like, please do it. And whenever we have snacks or treats in the house, he literally will eat them all in one sitting, which drives me insane. I'm like, what the fuck? I have to hide my snacks from him. If I know that it's something we're sharing, I'm like, I'm gonna take my portion, I'm gonna go tuck it away somewhere. And so we were laughing about it, that I was like, I promise you can have all the cookies, whatever, I think it was Girl Scout cookies that we had in the house from Nikea that she sold us. It was like, you can have all the cookies, literally all of them, if you edit this book for me. And there are 4 typos in there. So I think he owes me cookies, actually. Buki says, I got the ebook because it's something I need to come back to more often. I'm curious, what are you, you and I have been building a relationship now for a little bit, and I'm curious though, separate from our private conversations, I wonder what about the book, what practice or what chapter, what compelled you when you say it's something I need to come back to more often. What do you need to come back to more often? I know for me, oh yeah, I did mean literal cookies. I was like, I will give you all the cookies if you edit the thing. Because usually I'm like, you're eating all the snacks. Why are you eating all my snacks? So I like to buy things that he doesn't like so we can keep our snacks separate. He is a snack monster. For me, one of the things that I'm realizing right now with Corona craziness is how outside of my normal flow I am, even though my life is relatively undisturbed. I've mentioned that a couple times. I prior to the crisis, I wasn't going into an office with other people. I'm not things are pretty much the same, but emotionally, I'm off. Just that the vibration energetically throughout the world, everybody's this heightened energy. And so I've found myself feeling more tired, more sad, more lonely at times, and then bursts of energy, feeling oh my God, I have all this energy, I have to do all these things, and then totally crashing the next day or the next couple days. And so I know that I'm not doing all the things that normally work for me. So I'm trying to be easy on myself, remind myself that it's okay to not do everything. It's okay to do nothing. And it's okay to just do one thing. And so as it's been an interesting practice for me, exercise reading the book out loud And like, right, these are all things over the years that have worked for me. I know that they work. I've also used them, some of them, depending on the client, I know that they work for other people. And so knowing that there's like the line, there's post-corona, pre-corona, everything I was doing pre-corona, I was doing lots of things that worked. How many of these things am I going to carry with me moving forward? Am I going to like let myself be fluid with them? And sometimes I'm doing all of them, sometimes I'm doing one. I don't know. This is the whole thing, is that we have to just honor our bodies and our minds and what they need. And so you're saying, Buki, the structure, I was taking notes, but I need the formal structure to come back to and read for context and reminders. So like we've been doing the readings this week, jotting down notes that come to you, but you want to be able to go back and reference. Yeah, that makes sense. Is there anything in particular from the week, any of the conversations that we've had, because we've done a number of these post-reading conversations, where you're like, that's stuck with me. I'm curious about that. I'm gonna try that, or it's making me question things. Any of you, for that matter. I don't know who's on. I don't know if it's just Buki, Nakea, Sophia, maybe Defina's still on there. What are you guys doing at the end of the day? Like right now, because everything is off, like what is like one single practice that you're doing that is bringing you the most grounded, peaceful, calm energy? Of all the things that you might be doing, what is like this? If I do nothing else, it's this. Day one, prioritizing, you say. Yeah. The prioritizing is such an important thing, because we can get caught up in our own weeds trying to do things that aren't as important as other things, and if we haven't named it. So even if you only pick 2 things for the day, it's like which one needs to happen first, or which one is more important. And it's just like naming it, like this one matters more to me. And priority is sort of a loaded kind of term too. It's like importance. Which one is more important to me? Morning journaling, first thing to start my day. Defina says, Sophia, walking. As like non-negotiable, if you do nothing else, those are things you're doing. Sophia, walking really helps my body and mind, and it's the one thing I do for me. Yeah. I mean, what is the one thing I'm doing right now? It's sort of changing every week. Fina says, and some kind of physical activity that's actually more important. Why is it more important? Because you said morning journaling, first thing to start your day, and a physical activity. In what way? What do you mean more important? I've heard you talk about the morning pages before, and I know you love them so much. And so and I know you also love your physical exercise, Zumba, and like classes and stuff. And so I'm just curious about like if you're naming importance and you're saying physical activity is actually more important to you than the morning pages. I'm just curious why. I go back and forth. If you talked to me 6 months ago, it was like journaling. I had to journal in the morning. If I didn't journal in the morning, I felt so fucking scattered throughout the day. Like, what am I doing today? I don't even know what is my life? Just so overwhelmed. My calendar is like super solid. I block everything. Things are color coded. So I know I can always look at my calendar for what I have like to do scheduled, like calls and whatnot. But I needed to journal and write down the other things that were important to me, that were not the meetings, but like going outside for a walk, mailing the card, like whatever the things are. And anyway, so journaling was a super essential part of my day prior to Corona. I've been journaling in a different way now. I haven't been using Clarity Pages lately. I've been doing an open journal that sometimes it is like journaling longhand. Sometimes I use it, I flip a page, I've got notes from meetings in there. It's just sort of this thing I've been carrying around with all of my thoughts, all of my feelings. I've written a few poems in there recently. I'm not a poet. It's like so interesting that I've been compelled to write poetry. What the fuck? I don't know what's happening. Let's see. Fina says, Buki says, I notice my days are smoother when I do me things, meditating, etc. First thing out the gate. Right, because that's the true for me as well, particularly with journaling and meditation. If I don't do it first thing, it gets pushed and neglected. For some reason, there's something about the early morning, the coolness of the day, the quietness of the house, that it feels like those are the time, the me time. That's the me time of day as well for me. Fina, if I don't do some physical activity, movement, then I feel so sluggish. They're both important. Do you consider physical activity just any movement, like a walk out in the neighborhood and like Zumba class? Or is it like you have to like get your heart rate up and have like a workout for it to be considered like checked off the list, like, and your sluggishness doesn't settle in? Like, does a walk satisfy that in a pinch? Because I know you really do like the more physical. Meditation. Are all of you meditators? You mentioned it there, Buki. Sophia and Defina, do you guys meditate? I'm curious. I consider myself, I do identify as a meditator, but not consistently. And when I'm not consistent, I totally feel it. When I am doing it, and it is, I actually like to do my longer sits in the evening before I go to bed. A long walk counts. Being outside in nature is so helpful. So as long as you're moving your body, yeah. Versus the sluggishness. I guess that might be why I feel so sluggish lately, is I'm like hardly working out. I mean, I am going on walks. Hey, constant motion, on and off with meditation, more off than on. Yeah. Sophia, I did it for the first time last Saturday and loved it. I have another guided meditation tomorrow. Oh my God, I may have found something in it. I love it. Buki says I've been more consistent using an app. The same is true for me. Pearl, what I just asked everybody was about their meditation practices or if they have one. I'm hot. It's like hot, cold. A meditation app is so helpful to like having the guided meditation, whether it's somebody literally guiding you with their voice, or having like the sound, like the chimes or the gongs or the water. I'm curious what apps you guys use. I remember when I first really truly was starting to intentionally meditate, I was using an app called Stop, Breathe, Think, which was like the perfect introduction to meditation for me. And then later I switched to Insight Timer, which has thousands of guided meditations from teachers all over the world. There's tons of free ones. There's also like meditation courses, and I think that the instructor actually gets the full amount. So if you pay $5.99 for that one, you get like however many weeks of support. There is a guided meditation on Insight Timer that has become the only one that I do, literally the only one. Manoj Dias is his name. I actually follow him on Instagram, which was weird. It's been weird. I kind of want to unfollow him because I'm like, he is like my meditation teacher who talks me to sleep at night. And seeing him like walking around Williamsburg, Brooklyn, I was like, this doesn't feel right. He can't be a normal guy. But there's a particular meditation. He has a number of them on Insight Timer, but there's one. I'll reference it in my show notes in the caption when I post this later. As I've done all week, anything that comes up that's referenced, I add it like podcast notes so that you can oh, what did she say about that app, or what was that book, or whatever. Eternal Sunshine, not a meditation app per se, but he has several on there, and I just love everything about him. Is it an app or is it like YouTube? What is it? I'm always open to more of that stuff. Gotta run. Love you. Oh, I love you too. Thank you for being here. Catch my other ones. You could put it on like a podcast later in the week. Yeah, Insight Timer is so good. The guided meditation. Matt is a really hardcore meditator. He meditates like twice a day, 20 minutes at a time. If you listen to his podcast, he just did an episode on Monday. It's literally titled the Special 420 episode of the Matt Kollock Show podcast. He talks about his spiritual awakening. Anyway, he's a deep meditator, and I'm always like, I'm not meditating enough. He's meditating all the time. It's an app. I'll send it to you. It's so beautiful. I'd love, please do. Please do. So meditation is a new thing for some of us. Writing in the morning, prioritizing our lists, moving our bodies. As I think about like moving into the rest of the day, what time is it here? I don't even know. It's 2:30 on Friday. And tomorrow I have the Women of Color cohort, and I'm getting together on Sunday with some girlfriends. We're gonna just make crafts. A girlfriend dropped craft kits to all of us, and we're just gonna get on Zoom and make them. So I've got like these little things sprinkled over the next couple of days, and I'm thinking about how, like, if I do nothing else, what is one thing I can reintroduce into, hey April, into my weekend? Not like I've got to introduce a new practice and I've got to like start doing it again next week. It's going to be a new thing. But rather, what can I do this weekend? What can I do this weekend? One practice to make me feel a little more connected to myself, a little more connected to my body, a little more grounded. What is one practice? One of the things that I really liked doing, well, I guess it would have been like summer, fall, was waking up, on my computer without voice or video, fresh out of my Zoom meeting. Oh, shoot. Well, you'll be able to catch it. I'm going to post it to my IGTV like I did earlier in the week. But one of the things I was doing prior to the winter, because winter fucks with everything for me. I can't wake up early. I can't do anything in the dark or the cold. I really, really, really was like in the fall, I was like, no joke, like 20 pounds lighter than I am right now in September. I've gained 20 pounds since September. October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Okay, it's been 7 months. I've gained 20 pounds in 7 months. And what I was doing then was, in addition to a number of things, one of the things that felt really good was waking up early, and before doing anything, before having coffee, before eating anything, I would have water. I'd immediately put my workout clothes on, and I'd go outside. And I'd go on the bosque, and I'd usually get to see the sunrise or like be going out just as it was rising. Sometimes I would run, sometimes I would walk. It just depended on what I was feeling, what I was in the mood for. And yeah, I was 20 pounds lighter. Maybe I will try. This morning I woke up at 6:30, which seems like the middle of the night basically, because I've pretty much been waking up at like 9 o'clock every day. I had to wake up because I had a 9 o'clock call this morning. And then I was like, why do I have a 9 o'clock call? I need to change the availability on my calendar, my schedule, or people should not be able to schedule with me at 9. But so I woke up at 6:30 because I wanted to not just like launch into a meeting right away. And 6:30, I had like 2 hours before I had to get situated. And so I made my coffee and I sat out front on the porch, and it was, I got to see the sunrise. Well, the sun had already started to rise, but I got to see it continue going into the sky, and it felt really good. Like right now, I'm feeling good. Like I feel like I've been up since 6:30, a little bit sleepy, but good. And so I'm reminded as like literally as we're talking about this, I'm going to try and do that this weekend, is wake up early, the way that I did today, but instead of sitting outside, to go on the bosque, go for a walk first. The reason that I was doing it that way, where no food or no coffee yet, like go for the walk and then come home, it's actually in chapter 5 that I read today, there is like a chart here, like a little diagram of a habit loop. This is from the book, adapted from the Power of Habit, which I coincidentally have right here. I'll reference all these things in the show notes, but The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, there's something called a habit loop, where if you can crack the bad habit and replace one part of it with something that you want to be doing, you can reframe old habits and turn them into things that work for you. And so in the fall last year, I was working on like creating new habits, and then I had them, and then the winter fucked everything up. But so it's like the way that it is, so there's a cue, the routine, and the reward. So the example that's in the book here that I wrote is like, so if the cue, the trigger is, okay, it's 3:00, I'm kind of tired. You might get into a habit where the routine, the cue is 3 p.m., I'm tired. The routine is, let me have a cup of coffee, or let me have some chocolate, right? The cue is that you're tired, it's 3 p.m. The routine, the habit is, let me have some coffee or chocolate. And then the reward is, you're more alert. Is it possible to, rather than saying, I've got to stop, I need to stop eating the chocolate, and this is like, and you get hard on yourself, and I'm like drinking coffee at night, and now I'm like tired, I can't fall asleep at night, or I'm drinking coffee in the afternoon and you can't fall asleep at night. Instead of, all you have to do is replace the routine. So at 3 p.m., you're still going to be a little tired. That's the trigger or the cue. And so instead of having coffee or chocolate, training yourself to replace that routine piece with moving your body. Okay, instead of going and getting a cup of coffee or a chocolate bar, instead of that, the whole thing that you're shooting for is the reward, to feel more alert. And so you're like, coffee, chocolate, more alert. Instead of coffee or chocolate, can you replace it with like going outside and doing like a walk around your house? Or could you like do something, could you dance for 10 minutes or 5 minutes? And just sort of like get yourself more alert. If the reward, you're shooting for the reward, which feels so good to be more alert, right? And so in my instance with the working out in the morning before I even had coffee, it's really helpful to identify the reward. What is it that you want to feel? What was it that I wanted to feel? And so in the morning, I used to wake up, get my coffee, there's been times like open my laptop and start doing things. And I had it felt like, okay, I'm like doing things, I'm accomplished, I'm making progress. But then often the working out would get pushed, and then not end up happening. It would fuck up my, it was creeping in and fucking up my morning, white space. I call it white space, spaciousness, open, wake up, coffee, laptop, not helpful. But what that was providing me was a sense of accomplishment in a really convoluted way. So I'm like, what can I do to still feel accomplished and switch that habit so that I'm getting my physical activity in sooner? And it's like, I love early morning walks. I love watching the sunrise. So I would wake up, instead of having any food or any coffee, I would go out on the walk or the run, come back already feeling accomplished. And the reward was coffee. And I always have a bowl of yogurt with coconut flakes and chia seeds in the morning and a sliced up banana. It was like, I want the coffee and the yogurt. But it's like, I can't have it. That's the reward for going and working out versus wake up, make my coffee, make my yogurt, sit and start working. It's like the thing in that messed up habit was that I just wanted the coffee and the yogurt, but it felt really good to feel accomplished. So if I could wake up, go have my workout, then come home, my reward for doing that was having a cup of coffee and my yogurt. I'm getting the reward, but I'm also feeling accomplished before I've even done anything. So I'm reminded that that has worked for me, and it's just a matter of like, you have to like identify your habit loop. What is the cue for, in this instance, it was waking up in the morning, wake up, coffee, yogurt. Wake up, coffee, yogurt. Like, I don't need my coffee and yogurt the second I wake up. I can have it as a reward for going for my walk. I can wait an hour. So thinking about something you want to do differently, what's the trigger, what's the cue, what's the thing that you're doing that you want to replace? In my instance, it was just sitting down with my laptop and feeling like, well, I'm sitting and working, so of course I get my coffee and yogurt, but it's like, let me replace the laptop with the walk. Then my reward is coffee and yogurt later when I get home. And I'm actually less inclined to open my laptop immediately because I'm still kind of like cruising on the high from the walk. And so then it's like, yeah, I don't need to open my laptop immediately. So identifying what's the cue, what's the trigger for you, what's the thing that you're doing, what's the reward that you're getting, and what can you replace to still get the reward. We can totally talk about this. If you ever wanted to email me or text me, if you're like, God, I want to break this habit of mine, but I would love to talk through your habit loop and identify the pieces with you. I've been talking a long time. Hello, virtual username. Who is that person? They've actually been in here twice. All right, guys. Any other thoughts? Like, before we go, what is one thing that you would like to introduce into your day this weekend? One thing. Like I'm saying, I think I'm going to wake up and go for a walk first. That's what I'd like to do. I'm setting that intention right here. I want to wake up, go for my walk first. It doesn't have to be early. Maybe it's at 9. It doesn't have to be 6:30. But that is what I am intending to do on Saturday and Sunday, tomorrow and the day after. And maybe I do it during the week next week, but I'm not going to put the pressure on myself. What is one thing, one practice that you want to add to your weekend that you'd like to try? For those of you that are on, there's a few of you. I'm curious. One simple practice that you are going to introduce just this Saturday and Sunday, not with the intention of changing your life. Prayer and stretching, April says. Prayer and stretching. Are those things that you haven't been consistent with right now, lately? Sophia, meditation, reading 20 pages at least. I'm a slow reader. I'm a slow reader too. That's why the audiobooks have been so good. It's like I'm consuming it at this rate. And I actually have the voice on the book. Are we reading the same book right now, Sophia? 20 pages this weekend. So 10 pages on, maybe 10 on Saturday, 10 on Sunday, or all at once. So both of you want to do reading. Buki and Sophia want to read. Sophia's also going to do meditation, and April's going to do prayer and stretching. This weekend, prayer and meditation, reading, walking, before I do anything else. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. There's no reason we can't do it. We know we want to do it. I didn't finish the book for book club. I got it on audio and still didn't finish. Oh, I'm only on like chapter 3. Don't not come. Yes, I usually get both in right before heading to the office. So you wanting to introduce them this weekend, though, as your prayer and stretching, would you normally do them on the weekend? Yes, please do, Sophia. Come. yeah, I will go on a walk. I will go to the bosque. I'll post pictures about it on my Instagram. But since I'm working from home, I haven't been doing it. I see. Okay. So you're like, I want to reintroduce that with just a gentle, simple, intentional attempt at doing it this weekend, right? It's okay if it doesn't happen on Monday. So stretching and prayer for April, meditation and reading for Sophia, and reading for Buki, and an early morning walk for me. Is there anyone else on here? Hey, my dear. I was about to hop off, but I was just asking everybody, what is one simple, like, low stakes, not overwhelming, simple, like, practice that feels good to you that you haven't been doing, that you want to introduce into the weekend? Not with the intention of like, okay, now I have to do it next week too, but like, it's okay if you don't do it next week, but like, I'm going to do it on Saturday and Sunday. What is one, maybe two things that you want to introduce into your Saturday or Sunday? A couple of us said prayer and reading and stretching and prayer, stretching, reading, and meditation. And mine is that I'm going to reintroduce just for this weekend, maybe it'll seep back into my life, but where I go outside before I have my coffee and like get out on the bosque, go for a walk. Maybe I'll attempt to run. We'll see. Gotta get ready. Love you too. I'll see you later. I'm glad you were here, Sophia. Alexandria says, getting outside and enjoying nature. Have you been doing that regularly? Like during the week at all? Or what does that look like? That's been one of the things all week long. People have been saying the practice that is like one of the practices that's the most grounding for them. And the same is true for me, is like going outside. And it's the thing that I tend to let myself push off, like, I'll do it later. Okay, well, now that it's light out until almost 8 o'clock, or I'm like, I can do it this evening. But every time I push it, I'm obviously less likely to get it done. And even though I do like an evening walk, like I feel like I feel more connected to it as exercise when it's in the morning for some reason. And I love the coolness of the morning. So I'm wanting to really intentionally introduce it into my morning this weekend. And so for you, Alex, getting outside and enjoying nature, I'm just curious if you've been doing it during the week and you're feeling disconnected from it and like, yeah, I'm gonna do that this weekend. For those of you that didn't catch it, I was reading chapter 5, the final chapter of my ebook today. Please ignore the typos, and if you have problems with them, you can email my editor. His name is Matt Kollock. You can, at Matt Kollock, complain to him. There's only like 3 of them. I read chapter 5. I read chapter 4 yesterday, chapter 3 on Wednesday, 2 on Tuesday, and chapter 1 and the preface on Monday. They're all in my Instagram TV feed, that middle tab on my profile. If you want to go back and listen to them. My friend Rachel yesterday was like, I'm totally listening to these like podcasts. She's been sewing masks. Mask making has literally become her business right now. She's a marketing person, and so she had them on and was listening to them yesterday. April says, honestly, since COVID hit, I've been paranoid to go outside for my morning prayer because my usual spring allergies heightened my anxiety. How can you approach it in a way that feels safe for you? What do you need? Do you need the right mask? Do you need to restock on allergy medicine? I have to take oral allergy medicine and the nasal. I have really, really, really bad allergies. But I also am wearing a mask. Like when I go out on the bosque, I wear a mask because there's so many fucking people down there too. Alex says, yes, been better about it during the weekday. Need to incorporate during the weekend. Oh, interesting. have you been using the weekend as sort of like your time to just like relax and not do anything? Matt and I, we've been avoiding the bosque on the weekends because it's so busy, but I'm realizing that if I go out early, it's going to be less busy, for sure, but also maybe there's something, I don't know, if we probably won't do it this weekend, but like get in the car and drive somewhere that's more open and not like right in the city, as an opportunity to just move our bodies and also like learn about different trails and stuff. All right, you guys, I am so grateful that you're here. Like all of my favorite people were on here today. I love you all. Reach out to me, text me, email me, DM me. I will post this in my Instagram TV feed along with, show notes, anything that came up, the Insight Timer app, my editor, should put his email address in there so you can complain to him, the book about the habit loop, stuff like that. I'll post it all in the thing underneath. April says, I think I can start taking my oral allergy meds at night so that I don't have to wait for it to kick in the morning. Yes, that is a thing that I started doing like 2 years ago. I'm on a 24-hour allergy med, and so if I take it in the morning, like I'm wasting those 8 hours at night. Totally take it at night. I take it right before I go to bed, and so when it's wearing off, it's already nighttime and it's fine. And then I do nasal spray at night and again in the morning. Yeah, taking the Met allergy pill, if you're on a 24-hour, taking it at night. I'm glad you thought of that. Do that. It helps in a huge way. Okay, I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Have a super beautiful rest of your Friday and weekend. Bye.